Hello everybody, I am Daniel Farañas de la Cruz and today we are going to talk about or to tackle about the history or the development of English in China. So this course is the history of the English language ELS 111. From missionaries to modernization, evolution of English in China. Or in other words, English in China. So we have our members. First of all, I am Daniel Farañas de la Cruz. We have Janelle Bidachilias, ZDG Custudio, and of course, Miss Miracle De Jesus. And to our advisor, Mr. Alex Soriano. Good morning po. Okay, so before we start, we have these major parts of our discussion. First is the history of English in China. Second is the studies of English in China. Third is the linguistic and literary features. And of course, fourth is the summary and conclusion. Okay, so for the history of English in China, we have these four major things that happened during the time or in this section. So our visual aids will be just plastered here. Okay. So first is English is introduced by Western missionaries and traders and diplomats. So in the early 19th century, English is introduced by these people or by these different people. First is the Western missionaries, traders, and the diplomats. So they did introduce English in a way that they use the religious works, they do translation activities, and also it is because of the foreign exchange. So, one remarkable missionary is Robert Morrison, who established the Chinese English dictionaries that helped students in knowing these different words in English, and it helped educators um, to explain the different English languages and rules because of that dictionaries. Also, Morrison did the or established the different learning materials and learning or educational materials to teach to students for the ease of teaching students the English language. So aside from that, what expanded more or what propels more to expand the English language in China is the opening of treaty ports after the Opium Wars. So what is this opening of treaty ports and Opium Wars? So the opening of treaty ports pertains to these two Asian countries, which are the Japan and China. So Japan and China is forced to open their ports for foreign exchange or for foreign trade. It is because they are defeated by the Western power, which are the US and the Britain, in the wars that happened during their time. So for Japan in 1854, they are defeated because they are defeated, and the war that happened is called the Japan Sperry expedition, and because of that they are forced um, to open their ports for foreign exchange. Same thing happened in China, but in China it is called the Opium Wars. So after the Opium Wars in 1852 or 1842, I mean, the Western people or Western power also forced China to open their ports for foreign exchange. And how does that treaty opening of treaty ports and foreign exchange expanded the English in the country China? It is because the opening of treaty ports allowed the foreign English speakers to enter the China and Japan countries, which means that there is an interaction between foreign English speakers and the Japanese and Chinese peoples. But we are pertaining to Chinese peoples right now. Okay, so the expansion of interaction between the Chinese people and the foreign English speakers expanded, which means they are required to speak in English. Another thing that expanded the English in the country is the British rule in Hong Kong. So after aiming or having the power over Hong Kong, British country or the British really want to emphasize the British rule in Hong Kong, which influenced their diplomacy, their government, education, and everything that is formal in from their native language into being or into English language, and that includes the Chinese government or the Chinese diplomacy. They altered the Chinese diplomacy into English diplomacy, being able to use English as a formal language in these sectors. But during the late Qing Dynasty and the early Republican era, English is progressing well. English became their enforcement when it comes to government, diplomacy, and etc. But the progress of English really had been interfered because of different political revolutions, which really interferes the ability of the English to spread in the country. And one thing that happened there is the Cultural Revolution, which de-emphasized the foreign languages that had occurred in the country during those times. So the Cultural Revolution propelled English to decline during those era. But good thing happened. But during 1978, the reform and the opening up policy occurred, which means that English is spread nationwide because of educational reforms, the economic modernization, and also the high demand of global communication. And the establishment of English as a required subject solidifies its role as a formal language in education and also in economic use in economic tools as a language. And now in today's generation, English plays a major role in China's education system and also by its economy.
What is the status of English, ESL or EFL? How many speakers and what is the current rank in the International Proficiency Index? So, in China, English is treated as an EFL, English as a foreign language, because people mainly learn it in school rather than use it in daily life. The country has hundreds of millions of the English learners, making it one of the largest English learning population in the world. Though the level of the ability varies widely, according to the English Proficiency Index, China currently ranks around 82nd, placing it in the low proficiency category. What are the programs for the improvement of English proficiency? Program aim at improving English proficiency in China include specialized language training centers, international schools, study abroad opportunities, partnership universities that offer English medium instruction, and community English corners that provide spaces for learners to practice conversational skills. So, how is English language education implemented? Language education in China is carried out through a national curriculum that requires students to start learning English in a primary school and continue through high school and university. Teaching is guided by government standard and reinforced by major exams like the CET. Students also improve their skills through training centers, international schools, study abroad programs, and community English corners, although recent policies have reduced private tutoring. What are the language policies affecting English language use? So, China's language policies influence English use by requiring students to learn English from primary school through university. promoting practical communication, skills while still focusing on exams, regulating private tutoring through policies like the double reduction policy, and addressing concerns about equal access to quality English education. How is the attitude of the people towards English? The general attitude toward English in the China is largely positive. English is widely regarded as essential for academic success, career development, and participation in global affairs. However, concerns remain regarding the overemphasis on foreign language and the unequal access to quality English education across different regions and social groups.
I'm Zede Digumpal Custodio from Baels-1. Whether China English is a valid variety. China English is a recognized variety of English within the World Englishes framework. It has distinct linguistic characteristics shaped by the phonological, syntactic, and pragmatic influence of Chinese languages. These features are not merely mistakes but rather a reflection of the localized use of English in China. So, the existence of China English acknowledges the diversity of English language used worldwide and recognizes the importance of cultural and linguistic context in shaping language. So, role of English in Chinese literature. English has become a creative medium for Chinese authors to express their experiences, perspective, and storytelling. Writers like Ha Jin and Elaine Chang have made significant contribution to global literature by writing in English. Their works showcase Chinese family life, culture, and social issues, demonstrating the versatility of English as a literary language. English has enabled Chinese authors to reach a broader audience, promoting cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. So, madaming aspects ang English in Chinese literature. Include dun ang cultural expression. English is used to convey Chinese cultural nuances, traditions, and values. So, sa global outreach naman, English enables Chinese authors to reach a global audience, fostering international understanding and recognition. Sa linguistic innovation, Chinese authors writing in English often experiment with language, blending Chinese and English elements to create a unique literary style. So overall, China English is a valid variety of English shaped by the complex interplay of Chinese languages and English. English has become an important medium for Chinese authors to express themselves, contributing to the rich diversity of global literature. So, influence of Chinese languages naman, Chinese languages have significantly influenced the development of China English. Phonological features such as difficulty, distinguishing between I and R, substitution of the sounds with the S or D, and simplification of consonants cluster are common. So, grammatical tendencies include article omission, tense simplification, and direct translation from Chinese structures. This influence demonstrates the complex interplay between Chinese languages and English, resulting in a unique variety of English.
Okay, so what ties all the section together? So all the section shows that English language in China is being shaped by culture, politics, education, and globalization. Each part reveals how China adapts the language to its national goals and realities, and how English role in China reflects global trends. So China experienced minor global trends where English becomes a tool for economic growth, international communication, and cultural exchange. Like many countries, China blends global English with local identity. And prediction for the next decade. So English will likely remain important, but China may develop more confidence in its own variety. Technology, AI, and global businesses will keep English relevant, while bilingualism, cultural preservation will become stronger priorities.